Hi, and welcome again to the Spontaneous Brilliance podcast. In the last episode, we were talking about accepting your role that you are here playing on the great stage of life. And I kind of wanted to take that a little bit further and talk about finding your bliss. Our character that we are playing here on the great stage of life, our character has a purpose. And we're here to recognize that purpose and understand it and fulfill it to the best of our ability. That's the journey we're on. That's the story we're in. That's the game we're playing. Pick a metaphor, it all works. We're here on purpose, as in intentionally. I know you've heard me say this. We're here on purpose, intentionally, and we're here on purpose, as in alignment with our sacred purpose, what we came here to do. So both intentionally and in alignment with our sacred purpose. But we lose our belief in that, and then we get off track. Thanks to the great Mario Saletti, one of the great truisms of acting is you've got to find the love. And in life, that means you've got to find your bliss. You've got to find what is your bliss. As Joseph Campbell would say, if you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you. And the life that you ought to be living is the one you are living. That's Joseph Campbell. See, finding your bliss is finding the love on steroids. What Mario meant by finding the love was that we find what the character loves, and that will help you to understand what you need to be pursuing on their behalf as you play the role. Well, when you find the love of a character, you find their authenticity, you find their center, you find their core, you find what drives them, you find what makes them get up in the morning, and that's how you can play that character authentically. The actor must know what the character loves. And so in order for you to authentically show up as yourself in your life, you gotta know what you love. And as strange as it may sound, we can't take for granted that we know our deepest passion, that we know our deepest love, because odds are we've spent very little time exploring it with ourselves. In fact, most of us put a lot of energy into explaining to ourselves why we can't have what we love, why we shouldn't pursue our passion, or why we can't or shouldn't want whatever our dream is. But that's just silly. Okay? I know that doesn't help much, but I'm going to talk to you about things that will hopefully help. But it is just silly. I mean, we spend a lot of time telling ourselves the reasons why not to do something, the reasons why not to pursue a dream that we can feel. And we spend a lot of time listening to other people sharing their little protective personalities with us and telling us why it won't be safe to do what we feel we want to do or we dream we could do. But that's what it's all about. What do you love? In order to show up fully on this planet, you have to embrace the love at the center of your being and work to express it in an authentic way. That's what it's all about. Oprah Winfrey said, everybody has a calling. Your real job in life is to figure out why you are here and get about the business of doing it. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said, there's nothing capricious in nature, and the implanting of a desire indicates that its gratification is in the constitution of the creature that feels it. I'm going to translate that for a second. What Ralph Waldo Emerson is saying is that if you've got the desire, that is telling you that you're also born with the ability to fulfill it. That calling that you feel deep within, that's the voice inside that says, this is what might be. And we get what I call divine discontent, right? It's that little unsettledness that makes us want for more. And we even have all kinds of, theories in our society that wanting for more is somehow just ego or bad, and ego in a pejorative sense, it's greedy or it's whatever. But wanting for more for our lives, wanting to do more, wanting to share more, wanting to be more, wanting to express our unique creative genius is not greedy. That's what we came here to do. That feeling inside, it comes from that part of you that knows full well what you were born for and what you were meant to do. It's whispering to you. It's a beautiful place of love and divine inspiration that is calling to you to find the love in you. If you listen to that whisper of divine discontent and take it as an offer, remember offering, accepting, and not blocking? If you take that whisper inside you as an offer and you accept it and you offer back, it will save you from the black hole of boring or the black hole of fear. Because again, remember, the universe only offers. It's not offering us an opportunity or an inspiration or an idea so that we can experience pain or frustration or boredom. Those feelings come from blocking, and only we can do that. Only we can do that blocking thing. My favorite quote from the Gospel of St. Thomas is number 70. It's a Gnostic Gospel where Jesus says, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." Okay, that sounds a little intense. I know, but sometimes the truth is a little intense. I mean, really, it sounds like it's a threat. If you don't do this, it's going to suck. Well, hello. That would be life. If you don't pursue your dreams, if you don't, remember, acting is acting, right? It's not about what you're feeling. It's about what you're doing. And if you don't do what is yours to do, what we have been saying for centuries in all the ancient texts is, if you do not do what you are called to do, then that is when you are going to find that pain. That quote is telling us that in no uncertain terms, if we offer what we're born to bring to the planet, then it will save us. It will bring us bliss. And if we do not, then it will destroy us. It will give us a life of frustration and pain. If you bring forth what you're meant to bring forth onto the planet, you will find bliss or heaven on earth. Heaven is living your bliss. Hell is the pain of not living your bliss. And when people wonder why they're miserable, when they have got all the things that, conventional society or conventional wisdom would suggest is the road to happiness, right? They've got plenty of money. They've got plenty of stuff. They've got plenty of outward signs of happiness and success. And yet they're not happy. They're frustrated. They're in pain. They're scared. They're sad. They're depressed. Why is that? Well, it's because they did not live the life they came here to do. They didn't honor their unique creative genius, their purpose, their passion. All of that's inside them. But if they don't do it, if they don't express it because of all the practical reasons in the world, all the whys you shouldn't do it and the whatevers, it leaves a hole inside them. The deficit, the problem that they can't figure out. It's because their passion, their purpose, their bliss was never honored. So I work with people all the time. I literally have a process I take my clients through called Finding Your Bliss. And it's a real deep dive. And it's very interesting to me that when I work on that with people, even people that are very aware that they have a dream and they want to accomplish it, they still have a lot of reframing to do in our process because our natural tendency is to chase the practical version of our dream. We all have a tendency to do what the great Mike Dooley would call getting lost in the cursed hows. And when I work with people on finding their bliss, I literally have to remind them every 15 seconds to stop questioning the how, to stop thinking about the how, to stop sort of deflating or homogenizing their dreams so that they can imagine the how. You just have to know where you're headed, plant it in the GPS, and then take one step in that direction, and then take another step in that direction, and then take another step in that direction. So it's about offering and accepting where you are after that offer, and then offering, and then offering, and then offering. The other problem that we tend to have that keeps us from finding our bliss is that we get way too attached to the outcome. It's kind of like getting caught in the hows or the practical version, but it's also getting stuck in the outcome. Like if we have a desire, if we have a dream to save lives, and we set out to become a lifesaver. And so how do I do that? I go to school and I get the best grades, and then I go to medical school and I get the best grades, and then I apply to a residency that is really cool, and then I've got lots of debt, and so I decide to go work at this hospital that is really prestigious, and I then go into surgeries and I become a specialist in, I don't know, some kind of surgery. It makes a lot of money and it does the thing, but I forget that what I really wanted to do was save lives. And so maybe me as a surgeon, I'm saving lives because maybe I'm a neurosurgeon or I'm a thoracic surgeon or something, and I do save lives, but I don't ever really get to know the people, or I don't really get to step into a critical situation in an urgent emergency kind of way and rescue people. And maybe that was what I was after. Or maybe I was after really knowing that I transformed people's lives. But because I didn't explore the depth of what I meant by that, I got caught up in means goals. There's a difference between end goals and means goals, right? End goals are those big picture goals, those big things that are the encapsulation of the dream or the vision. And the means goals are the steps to get there. But a lot of times there are means goals that are pretty dang big, right? When that milestone is hit, it's a big place. And so we get confused, and we think that those milestone means goals are what we were trying to accomplish. And we've never really looked at what was it that we needed to be, do, and share. What was it that we truly loved? And until we find the love at the center of how we're trying to show up on this planet, we can't truly find our bliss. And once we've found our bliss, oh my gosh, then we can back engineer it, right? Then when we know what that bliss is, when we know, oh boy, that's it. I just identified my love, right? And it takes time to weed through all the misapprehensions and the fears and the hows and the stuff. And when we find it and we know what it is, and then we start on that journey, we can back engineer it. We can find the action steps to take to head in the direction of our dreams. And we remember that the task here, the journey here, is to bring forth that which is within us, to bring it forth. I promise you that whatever your passion, your purpose, whatever that feeling deep inside you that is nudging you to something greater, it is not given to you to cause you pain or frustration by not getting it. That love, that desire, that talent, that calling is there to inspire you. The frustration, the pain comes from not pursuing it. So you might think that when you find the love, then pursuing it is going to be easy. But remember that overcoming obstacles is part of the process. Overcoming obstacles is the way that we make our way to the greater expansion of that love, to playing the character full out, to playing the character authentically. The character has a desire in any story. The character has a desire. And as we play that character authentically, we have to find out not only what they love, but we have to find out how we are going to take action steps in the direction of pursuing that love. And it's those action steps that we take that really set us on the path. It's not enough to just know what it is. That's not going to mean that it's all going to be easy. We're going to take steps and we're going to step on rocks and we're going to fall down occasionally. But it's even when you fall down in pursuit of something that is your bliss, that still isn't so bad. You know, trying and failing is not nearly as big a deal or as hard or as bad as not trying and just spending the rest of your life in that depressed, dissatisfied, unfulfilled dream state. I can't imagine anything worse. And so wherever you are, at whatever moment you're in your life, whether you are 7, 17, 47, 97, whatever it is, right now, you are at a phase to engage with your bliss. If you've been doing it your whole life, that's gorgeous. If you've never done it, also gorgeous, because right now you are meeting with the inspiration to start doing it. Okay? So wherever you are, whatever moment you are in, it is time to start seeking and finding your bliss. And then once you know what that is, you take action steps in the direction of that love, in the direction of fully being, doing, and sharing everything you came here intentionally to be, do, and share. Remember, our character has a purpose. We're here to recognize that purpose. We're here to step center stage in our own life and play fully, authentically, the role we came here to play. Don't give up on your passion or your purpose because you run into an obstacle. Don't interpret that as the universe or some other force telling you no. Because remember, the universe never blocks. When we know that obstacles are happening for us, not to us, then we know that they're part of this glorious, magical journey on the way to our bliss. Remember what Joseph Campbell said, that when you follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while waiting for you, and the life that you ought to be living is the one that you're living. He also said, I don't have the quote right here in front of me, but he said something to the effect of that when you follow your bliss, that doors will open for you that wouldn't open for anyone else. And that is true. The opportunities will be there for you. But first, you've got to find the love. You've got to find your bliss. You've got to decide that the reason that you came to this planet is important enough to be scared and do it anyway. It's important enough to fall down and get back up again. It's important enough to pursue it with all the love you can muster, and to keep your eye on the end goal, the blissful feeling, the love feeling. To keep your eye on that, the love feeling. All right, my beauties, I want to ask you to find your bliss, to really look at what you want to experience, how you want to contribute to this planet. What are the passions? What are the unique creative geniuses, the beautiful, wonderful things inside of you that you know somewhere deep inside you it's yours to be, do, and share? And then step center stage and share it. All right, my darlings. Thank you very, very much for coming to share another Spontaneous Brilliance podcast with me. And please always remember and never forget that if in doubt, you are probably blocking. So when in doubt, offer, 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 offer. The Spontaneous Brilliance podcast is brought to you by Miracle Communications Group. Our producer is Michelle Oneida. Sound engineer is Corey Michaels at Corey Michaels Productions. Music is composed by Rex Miller. And I'm your host, Sandra Kavanaugh. You can learn more about me and all things spontaneous brilliance at sandrakavanaugh.com or spontaneousbrilliance.com. And please join the conversation here at the Spontaneous Brilliance Podcast by emailing us at podcast@spontaneousbrilliance.com. And have a beautiful, glorious, blessing-filled day.